No bueno.
Not much. Going crazy.
Yo guys, welcome back to the vlog. In today's video, we are going to be doing some work on the engine that I got from Facebook Marketplace. We were able to get our hands on a new crankshaft and we're gonna be repainting the valve cover. So with no further ado, let's make it happen. This is the valve cover off of the motor that I got that I was scammed on. I'm just gonna start calling this motor the scammer motor. So I'm just gonna refer to it as that from here on out. We are going to be cleaning it up and doing some repainting on it. I don't really like this purple, and as you guys can see, a lot of the paint is faded. As you guys can also see right here, this valve cover has seen better days. In order to save this and use it again, I'm gonna have to cut off this side here that usually covers the top of the timing belt and the cam gears, and we're just gonna have to run it exposed, basically how it is on my Prelude now. For those of you that haven't seen the engine setup in my Prelude, this is it right here. This is a fully built H22A4 that is turbocharged. As you guys can see here, this is where I had to make adjustments to the valve cover. It's safe to run the engine like that. Honestly, I kind of like how it looks too. Definitely makes it look more race car. So essentially my goal is to rebuild the scammer motor, basically how this motor is here, and then install the scammer motor in the CB9 wagon. So guilty hacking this up. This is basically the final product after I hacked all that off. I mainly just cut that back section off and I left the top part of this section here, and the whole side is gone too, so the cam gears and the timing belt will be more visible. Let's go ahead and get this thing prepped for paint. I'm going to be spraying this down with some aircraft paint remover. This is usually what I use to remove any old valve cover paint before I go in and repaint it. Oh, this thing comes out thick, holy. Let me not make a mess here. Now that this has been sitting on here for a few minutes, I'm gonna take my wire brush and start to break it up. And as you guys can see, that paint is just literally coming off with ease. I'm not really putting much pressure on this at all right now. This wire brush is just stripping it off. If you ever want to strip anything down to bare metal, definitely use aircraft paint remover. Also use gloves, because this stuff will burn your skin. Ask me how I know. This is how the valve cover looks after I lathered it up with the aircraft paint remover and then took a wire brush to it. As you guys can see, we're pretty much at the bare metal. It's looking pretty clean, but I'm just gonna go over it with like this little Scotch-Brite pad to basically clean off any excess residue and get it prepped for paint. Pretty much. Yeah. I cleaned up this valve cover pretty well. I scuffed it up with our little abrasive pad there, and I got it pretty clean. I'm probably gonna go over it one more time just to make sure everything is clean, and then we're gonna get our first coat of paint on there. Before we do that, I'm actually gonna go ahead and tape off these letters. I just like it when the valve cover is painted a color and the letters are still that exposed metal. It just gives it a really nice look in my opinion. Okay guys, sorry my camera died there, but I was able to take a razor blade and cut out all of our letters, so our dual overhead cam VTEC will be showing through after we paint this thing. So let's go ahead and start getting some layers of paint on this thing. I'm going to be using this engine enamel. We decided to go with blue. I think it'll look really good on this valve cover, so let's get started. first coat doesn't need to be too thick, just enough to give us a good layer to stick to. All right, guys, it is the next morning, and I let this thing dry overnight, and as you can see, it has laid down very well. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off those taped letters, and then we're gonna start giving it some layers of clear coat. Okay, I got all the tape taken off now. Now I'm just using this little needle right here, and I'm dabbing it in some wet paint to basically just touch up any little areas around the letters that didn't get covered. It is later the next day, and I got all of our layers of clear coat on. I just wanted to show you guys how this thing is looking in the sun. That thing is gleaming. I cannot wait to get this motor assembled and see how this thing looks on top, and furthermore, in the car. Today is the day that I'm about to go and get the block and the crankshaft. So I was able to source a new crankshaft for the engine that we're building. I got it machined and checked, so everything checks out. It's the right size, so you should be all good to go.
Hold up, man. We just pulled up on somebody. We just pulled up on somebody, man.
What's up with it, my
Not
boy?
much. Going crazy.
Get the goods.
Uh-oh, something's going on. Oh my gosh. That crank.
I'm ready, man.
She's ready. Ready indeed. I said, why does he got a British accent? As you guys can see, we got the crank, courtesy of Linnell. This man has been responsible for all of our machine shop work lately, so shoot, man, professional machinist in the flesh.
It works.
Man, give us a little rundown of the Accord.
Well, this is my 94 Accord. Had it for about, I'd say 3.5 years now. Dailied it the whole time. We've had our ups and downs, but it is a great car.
Great car.
So first of all, the clear indicators, changed those. Added the fog lights, decals and stuff on the lights.
Can't go wrong with the 5 spokes, man.
Got a little baby stress, you know, nothing crazy. Still gotta drive to work.
Facts. Got the Beerus license plate. If y'all know, then y'all know.
You can do a little interior. Like I said, this is the daily, y'all.
Interior, well, we about to get the whole rundown, y'all. Whoa. And quickly steering wheel, boys. I'm trying to get like you. Shoot. Dragon Ball shifter. Make a wish. Dude, this is prime daily material, man.
Oh, yeah.
Prime.
It also has a 3.5-inch Yonaka exhaust as well.
That's right. I remember. Yeah, you know, we installed that thing. She's sitting pretty on some coilovers too, so sick whip, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. Well, there you guys have it. That's Linnell's Accord. This guy's been having this car and working on it here and there for some years now, and this thing has been pretty bulletproof for him, so gotta love it. We are back in the garage. As you guys can see, we got our new crank there. We got our block back with our closed deck, and then I just threw in our freshly painted valve cover. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing on the engine stand and get it prepped for assembly. We got our block on the stand. Everything looks really clean. Linnell did a very good job with the machining. Huge shout out to Linnell again. Before I can start assembling this motor, I'm waiting on some parts in the mail, such as the bearings and the piston rings, and basically everything else I need to assemble the bottom end. But I'm super happy that we got our new crank and we got our block back from the machine shop, cleaned and ready to be assembled. Okay, while we're waiting on engine parts to still come in the mail to finish this build for the wagon, we're gonna shift focus back to the Prelude. I have a new speed cluster that I would like to swap out to see if maybe that could fix our speedo issue. I think maybe the cluster might be wigging out, but we're gonna swap it out for the new one that I got. It has a little bit lower mileage too, which is nice. Hopefully we'll be able to see how fast we're going again. Okay guys, I swapped in our new cluster here. I also went ahead and swapped out the lenses on the cluster because the lens on my old cluster was a lot cleaner. This one was just a little scratched up and scuffed, so yeah, I'll probably hang on to that, maybe refresh it. I feel like it's gonna be one of those parts that could be hard to come by down the line, but Yep, we just put the cleaner one on. So we're gonna have to take this thing for a little drive and see if our speed is working. Let's throw our key in and make sure everything powers on. Looks like we got everything. Well guys, still unfortunately our speed is not working. So it wasn't the cluster, it wasn't the speed sensor. That means it's gonna have to be something wiring related. So I'm gonna have to get in there with my voltmeter and really just start checking stuff. Well guys, that's pretty unfortunate, but that's kind of just part of the game, you know. You just kind of have to do process of elimination and just figure out what it is. Just slowly start replacing things until you finally get to the bottom of the issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and button all this stuff back up. So the next thing that I'm gonna do in the Prelude is I'm going to be swapping out this turbo. I have another turbo right here. We're just sticking with our good old eBay turbos, but I think this one is just about at the end of its lifespan. Once the car is warmed up and under hard acceleration, this thing likes to smoke. And as you can see, it's already starting to leak oil from the seals. This turbo probably lasted me about 15,000 miles, which isn't too shabby for like a little eBay style turbo. I actually got this turbo from Max Speeding Rods. This is when they sponsored me and they gave me this turbo for free. So huge shout out to Max Speeding Rods for sponsoring this build in the very beginning and setting me up with the free turbo. This turbo started off in this car and then I put it in Wago and then it came back to this car. So it's safe to say that I've definitely put this thing through a fair amount of abuse. But we're gonna go ahead and get this thing out of here and swap in the new one. Okay, now that I got the old turbo off and getting the new one prepped to go on, I wanted to show you guys something real quick. As you can see right here, this thing has all kinds of play in it. You can even hear it kind of catching as it spins. No bueno. And then our new turbo here, just for comparison, no sort of play, no movement at all. Much quieter when we spin it. There's not any metal making contact with each other. So, yep, should be good to go. I'm switching my exhaust housing for the turbo because this side right here is too small of a bolt pattern to fit my up pipe. So I have to switch the exhaust housing if I still want to use this diameter up pipe. It might be like 2.5 inch, whereas mine is 3 inch. So we're gonna switch that over and then get everything back on the car. You can see where my old turbo was leaking onto the exhaust manifold, which was probably causing it to smoke. Getting this new turbo in here should definitely keep that from happening. While I have everything out, I am going to re-wrap this up pipe. This heat wrap right here is super old and discolored. I'm gonna go through and refresh that. We're gonna be replacing it with this black heat wrap right here. Alright guys, I got everything buttoned up. We got our exhaust re-wrapped with some new heat wrap. And now we're gonna take this thing on a little test drive just to make sure we don't have anything crazy going on. There's no major leaks and everything is still doing what it needs to do. No leaks and it sounds good. Let's take this thing for a little test drive.